Well, welcome back, Sister Wives Now, the home of raw truth, unfiltered emotion, and the stories the cameras on TLC only hint at but never dare to tell. Today, we're stepping straight into the emotional hurricane that's tearing through Sister Wives 20, and this time, the storm's center isn't Christine or Janelle or even Mary, it's Robyn Brown. Yes, the woman once labeled as Kody's favorite, the so-called queen wife, the one who was supposed to have it all, love, stability, family unity, is finally cracking. And her brutal confession during the season premiere didn't just shock viewers, it humiliated Kody on national television. You can almost feel the air shift when the episode opens. The music is haunting, a slow, trembling violin layered under Robyn's voice, which trembles as she begins. Her face looks worn, her eyes tired, almost hollow. Gone is the wide-eyed optimism of the early season. Gone is the sugary calm she once used to soothe Kody's rage. What we see instead is a woman cornered by her own choices, trapped in a reality she can't keep pretending is okay. And then, the bomb drops. Robyn admits that her marriage with Kody doesn't feel spiritual anymore. That line alone sends shockwaves across the fandom. It's the first time she's ever publicly acknowledged that something in their dynamic is broken. But it's what she says next that leaves both the cast and the audience stunned. I didn't sign up for this version of love. I wanted a family, I wanted a faith, but now it just feels like survival. The camera cuts to Kody, jaw clenched, eyes narrowed, trying to smirk, trying to save face, but the tension in his shoulders gives him away for a man who's built entire identity on control. Robyn's words are an open rebellion. This isn't the loyal wife defending him more. This is the woman, he once said, wasn't like the other. Now turning the mirror back on him, and fans noticed everything. Within minutes of the episode airing, Twitter, or as many Sister Wives fans now call it, Wivestock lit up comments poured in. Robyn finally said what we've all been screaming for 5 seasons. This is not a confession. This is an emotional Kody's face when she said, "It's not spiritual anymore," priceless. Even Reddit threads exploded overnight, some viewers calling it Robyn's redemption arc, others saying it's just her attempt to play the victim now that her control is slipping. But let's pause here because context is everything. Robyn didn't just snap overnight. This confession is the result of years of manipulation, guilt, and quiet suffering behind them. She's been carrying the weight of Kody's downfall, the failed marriages, the broken relationships with his children, the public humiliation. All of it has been tied to her name for years. Fans have called her the villain, the manipulator, the reason Kody abandoned his other wives. But what if that story isn't so simple anymore? In this season premiere, Robyn looks haunted. Her voice shakes when she talks about missing what family used to feel like. There's an edge of regret, maybe even fear. And for the first time, she doesn't use we when talking about her life. She says, "I feel alone. I feel like I've lost something sacred." That's not just a slip. That's a shift. It's the kind of line that tells you the mask is falling, that the woman who once clung to her image as the perfect spiritual wife is finally facing the cracks in her own reflection. Meanwhile, Kody, who's seated beside her, looks like he's about to combust. He tries to interrupt, tries to pivot, muttering something about how it's hard for men of faith misunderstood. But the producers don't cut away. The silence after Robyn's words is deafening. You can almost feel every ounce of his pride draining from his face. This is the man who, for 2 decades, demanded loyalty from his wives, used scripture to justify neglect, and treated emotional distance as leadership. And now, his last wife, the one who stood by him through every public scandal, is saying in front of the world that he's not the man she thought he was. Let's talk symbolism for a second, because this episode is full of it. There's one scene right after Robyn's confession where she's seen sitting in the living room surrounded by moving boxes. The editing makes it look like she's decluttering, but fans immediately picked up on the metaphor. Is Robyn emotionally packing up her life with Kody? TikTok creators didn't miss a beat. One viral clip with over 250,000 likes said, "She's boxing up his ego." This is the beginning of the end. Another creator analyzed the way she held a framed photo of the family. She stares at it for a few seconds, her eyes welling up, then puts it face down in the box. That's not random, that's deliberate editing, and it's powerful. And then, as if to make things worse, Kody decides to take control of the narrative and fails miserably. He launches into a rant about ungrateful wives, about how everyone abandoned. It's vintage Kody, all chest, no humility. He talks about loyalty, about how he's always done his best, but it feels hollow now. It's like watching a man recite lines from a play that the audience has already outgrown. The contrast between Robyn's quiet devastation and Kody's desperate defensiveness is what makes this premiere so riveting. It's raw, uncomfortable, finally real. For years, Sister Wives has walked the line between documentary and denial, But this episode, it feels like truth is finally breaking through the cracks of their carefully curated reality. And viewers aren't just watching, they're choosing sides. Some feel pity for Robyn, saying she's finally realizing the cost of being the favorite. Others see it as karma, calling it poetic justice. One trending comment under TLC's official post reads, "You reap what you sow." Robyn built the empire of lies with Kody. Now she's watching it crumble from inside the throne. But no matter which side you're on, it's undeniable that this confession changed everything. From a storytelling perspective, this moment is genius, intentional or not. TLC knows exactly what it's doing. They've shifted the emotional center of the show from Christine's liberation to Robyn's unraveling, the golden wife becoming the fallen queen. That's drama television gold. And yet, it doesn't feel entirely staged. Robyn's breakdown isn't polished. Her eyes dart away when Kody speaks. Her words stumble in places. She looks, for once, human. And that's exactly what makes viewers pause. Because maybe, just maybe, Robyn Brown isn't the villain of this story anymore. Maybe she's the next casualty of Kody Brown's impossible ego. We also have to talk about how the fandom reacted in real time. On Instagram, reaction pages dedicated to sister wives blew up. Memes, breakdowns, edits of Robyn crying to dramatic music, all of it flooded timelines within hours. The algorithm practically begged you to keep scrolling. Every clip was captioned with phrases like, "The day the queen fell," or "Robyn's karma," in 4K. But beneath the memes, there was something deeper brewing, a collective sense of shock that this season might finally be peeling away the FA fade. Fans have waited for years for Kody to face the truth, and it seems, this time, he can't talk his way out of it. One fan tweeted, "This is the most real Sister Wives has felt in years. No more fairy tale, just fallout." And they're right. You can feel the exhaustion in Robyn's tone, the frustration in every pause, the resignation in every half smile. She's not defending him anymore. She's narrating her own disillusionment. And if you look closely, even the production choices tell the story. The lighting in their interviews is colder this season. The music cues are slower, sadder. Gone are the playful cutaways to family laughter. Now, every frame feels heavy, like the entire Brown world is finally collapsing under its own emotional weight. The premiere isn't just a new chapter, it's a reckoning. Robyn's confession is the domino that sets off everything that follows, and you can already sense it in the editing, the pacing, even the silence between her and Kody. She's not the same woman who once said she'd follow him anyway. Now, she's the woman quietly wondering why she ever did. And for Kody, that loss of control, that humiliation, is something he can't mask anymore. His entire persona has always been about being the patriarch, the leader, the one who knows best. But now, he looks like a man losing not just his wives, but his legacy. Fans are calling it the great unraveling. Because if Robyn, the loyal one, is breaking, what's left for Kody to hold on to? This premiere doesn't just set the tone for season 20. It redefines what Sister Wives is. No more illusion. No more pretending everything's fine. What we're watching now is the slow, painful truth finally taking its at the table. And as Robyn's voice fades out in the final scene, whispering, "I just want, but I don't know where to find it anymore," you can feel it. The end of something big has just begun. The comments say it best. She's not just talking to Kody. She's talking to all of us who believe the fairy tale. So what happens next? Does Robyn's honesty finally force Kody to face reality? Or does it push him further into denial? Does the woman once protected by loyalty now become his greatest threat? One thing's for sure, the truth has finally slipped out, and there's no putting it back. The morning after Robyn's confession aired, it wasn't just the Sister Wives fandom that erupted. It was the entire internet. What started as one wife's vulnerable moment turned into a cultural moment of reckoning. The kind of moment where you realize this isn't just about one family anymore. This is about ego, power, and what happens when a man who's built his entire identity around control starts to lose it in front of millions. Kody Brown woke up to headlines that read like battle cries. Robyn breaks down, calls marriage hollow. Kody's last wife finally speaks out. The spiritual union is dead. Entertainment pages, gossip accounts, and even mainstream media outlets picked up the story because it wasn't just drama anymore. It was tragedy, a public one. And in true Kody fashion, he didn't stay silent. Within 24 hours of the premiere, he filmed a follow-up confessional for TLC, clearly recorded after the backlash. He looked stiff, defensive, his hair slightly unkempt, his tone full of bitterness disguised as justification. "People don't understand what it's like," he said. "They think Robyn's comments mean I've failed, but I've been fighting for this family while everyone else gave up." But fans weren't buying it. The top comments on YouTube and Facebook were ruthless. "He's not fighting for the family. He's fighting for control." Robyn finally told the truth, and he's panicking. This man turns every heartbreak into a sermon about himself. And they're right. You can feel it. Kody's pride has taken a hit, that no camera edit can fix. His so-called spiritual headship doesn't mean anything anymore. Not when his last loyal wife is publicly questioning his leadership. This is where the humiliation starts to settle in. Not the loud kind, but the quiet, creeping kind that comes when the world finally sees you without your armor. Kody's entire persona, the confident patriarch, the man of faith, the visionary polygamist, starts to crumble under the weight of his own image. He's no longer the man at the center of a spiritual empire. He's just a husband on camera, realizing the empire he built is dust. Meanwhile, Robyn retreats. She doesn't post, doesn't appear on social media, doesn't give interviews. Silence, and that silence speaks louder than any statement. Fans call it her grieving period. Others call it a strategic disappearance. But if you listen closely to the tone of her confession, you realize something important. This wasn't a planned betrayal. It was a breaking point. Robyn's been carrying guilt for years. The guilt of being the favorite. The guilt of watching the other wives leave while being labeled the reason. She tried to fix it. The family gatherings, the "we're still one" interview, the endless tears on camera. But the truth is, she can't fix a man who refuses to take responsibility. And that's what the world saw for the first time in this premiere. The moment Robyn stopped covering for him. Inside sources, and yes, even some crew whispers, say production didn't expect Robyn to go that deep. The producers thought she'd deliver another "I just want everyone to love each other" speech. But instead, she opened the door to the truth, a door that's been locked since Christine left. And now, there's no going back. The emotional fallout is massive. Even Kody's kids, who've mostly stayed quiet in the media, have started subtly reacting. Pete and Brown liked several tweets that praised Robyn for finally seeing what the rest of them lived through. One of the Brown daughters reportedly commented on a fan's Instagram story saying, "It's weird watching your parents' truth unravel on television. You can almost sense that this family is now living in two different realities, the one on camera and the one behind closed doors." And Kody, he's stuck in the middle, lashing out. In a later scene from the same episode, he's shown pacing around the backyard, muttering under his breath about betrayal and disrespect. The cameras zoom in just enough to capture the twitch in his jaw, the redness in his eyes. You can see it. This is unraveling. He talks about how the world doesn't understand polygamy, but it's clear. What he's really saying is that the world doesn't understand him. For years, Kody has built this narrative that every wife who left him was disobedient, spiritually weak, or misguided. Christine was selfish, Janelle was influenced, Mary was emotionally distant. But now, the wife who was supposed to validate his version of reality, the one who always defended him, is saying she's miserable. That's the one thing his pride can't process. And the internet knows it. Edits of Kody's angry moments are going viral again, only now they're being recontextualized. People are pairing his past monologues about loyalty with Robyn's tearful confession, making it painfully obvious that his leadership was never about family control. One viral TikTok sums it up perfectly. Kody built his empire on submission. Robyn just burned it down with one sentence. It's poetic and brutal. But here's where things get even more in. TLC seems to know exactly what's happening. This isn't a coincidence. They're leaning into Robyn's confession as the emotional centerpiece of the season. The editing, the pacing, the interviews, everything points to a narrative shift for years. Robyn was portrayed as the protected wife, the peacemaker. Now she's the reluctant truth teller, the emotional mirror reflecting back Kody's failure. And it's working. The premiere's ratings are through the roof. Fans who swore they'd stopped watching after Christine's departure are back. The hashtag number Sister Wives premiere trended for 2 days straight. TikTok clips of Robyn crying have hit millions of views. People aren't just watching. They're invested again, not in Kody's journey, but in the fallout of his collapse. Let's be honest, this is the kind of storyline producers dream about. You don't have to write conflict when reality is this raw. Robyn's confession is the emotional earthquake the TLC can build an entire season around. The betrayal, the humiliation, the unraveling, but make no mistake, this isn't just entertainment for the audience. For Kody, this is a real unraveling of power. He's losing everything that gave him identity. His family, his control, his public image. For the first time, he's not the storyteller. He's the story, and you can see it in his body language, in his eyes, in every defensive rant. The man who once sat tall in interviews, speaking with confidence about God's plan, now looks smaller. He's restless, pacing, his voice rising in desperation instead of authority. There's one scene, brief but powerful, where he says, "I don't even know who I am anymore." And you can tell that's not scripted. That's raw panic. Because for Kody Brown, control has always been identity. And now that control is slipping right through his hand. Meanwhile, Robyn's absence from social media becomes a storyline of its own. Fan pages start speculating that she's left Flagstaff. Paparazzi photos surface showing her alone at a grocery store. No ring, no smile, no Kody. TMZ titles it, Is Robyn done too? And just like that, the power dynamic flips. The woman who once looked dependent now holds all the power. She's no longer defending him. She's defining the narrative. The irony is painful. The wife who was once blamed for tearing the family apart might be the one who finally ends it. This is how empires fall. Not with explosions, but with silence. The kind of silence that follows truth. And fans can sense it. The comment sections have turned into emotional battlegrounds. Some say, Robyn deserves peace. Others respond, she built this cage herself. The debates are endless. But whether you pity her or not, one thing's undeniable. Robyn's confession has changed the way everyone sees Sister Wives. It's not a show about faith anymore. It's a show about fallout. And if the premiere is any sign of what's coming, this season might just be the one where the Brown family finally stops pretending, because now the masks are off, the illusion is gone, and what's left is raw, painfully, beautifully. So as the episode fades out, with Kody walking away in silence and Robyn staring at the ground, the question hangs in the air: love survive when truth finally? And that, Sister Wives fan, is the haunting brilliance of this moment. When Robyn Brown's confession first hit television screens, it was easy to mistake her tears for sympathy. For that long, awaited vulnerability fans had been craving for over a decade. But what came next was something she never saw coming. The internet that once called her the Queen Wives turned on her fast, sharp, and without mercy. In the days following the premiere, Robyn's name trended across multiple platforms, not as a victim, but as the villain who finally broke down. Hashtags like #Robyn deserves it and #Karma for Robyn flooded Twitter and TikTok. Her emotional confession was dissected, mocked, and re-edited into meme after one clip showing her tearful face saying, "I wanted a family" was used in over 10,000 TikTok edits, layered over sarcastic captions like, "You wanted the family, now deal with the wreckage. You stole Kody's heart," not realizing it came with his ego. It wasn't kindness. It was digital punishment. And as the backlash grew louder, you could feel the isolation closing in Robyn. Once the most protected figure in the Brown family, had become the lightning rod for everyone's anger. But what's fascinating is how she responded, or rather, how she didn't. Unlike Kody, who can't stand silence and always fights back through interviews or emotional outbursts, Robyn vanished. No statement, no clarification, no Instagram post, nothing, just a haunting absence. And in that silence, the audience began to project their theories, their anger, their pity. For some, her quietness was guilt. For others, it was grief. But for Kody, it was betrayal. Because when Robyn stopped defending him, Kody realized the one ally he had left was slipping away. The next episode confirms it. From the very first scene, you can feel the tension radiating through the screen. The once inseparable duo now sit on opposite ends of the couch, a physical gap that speaks louder than any. The chemistry, the synchronized looks, the shared laughter, all gone. Kody opens the episode with his usual mix of arrogance and wounded pride. "I feel like everyone's against," he says. Even Robyn's been distant. His tone isn't sad, it's accusatory, like he can't comprehend that someone could pull away from him without being manipulated by someone else. And when the camera cuts to Robyn's confessional, she doesn't deny it. "I love him," she says softly, "but I can't fix this for him anymore." That sentence, "I can't fix this for him anymore," becomes the heartbeat of the entire episode. It's not anger, it's surrender, and it sends Kody spiraling. You can almost hear the crack in his voice when he responds, "So what? You're giving up on me too." But Robyn doesn't even look at him. Her silence says everything. That's when the retaliation begins. Not physical, not loud, but emotional. Kody's weapon of choice has always been guilt, and he wields it with precision. He starts questioning her faith, her loyalty, her understanding of plural marriage. In his words, it sounds spiritual, but in reality, it's emotional punishment. He's trying to make her feel small again, to remind her of the hierarchy he believes still exists. Only this time, it doesn't work, because something in Robyn has shifted. She's no longer speaking like a woman begging for peace. She's speaking like someone realizing peace might mean walking away. The fans notice it immediately. In Facebook discussion groups, thousands of comments flood in analyzing every word, every pause, every tear. She's done. You can see it in her body language. This isn't Robyn's guilt. This is her awakening. For once, Kody's manipulation isn't working. But for Kody, that loss of control is unbearable. In one of the most talked about scenes of the season, he storms out mid-interview, ripping off his mic, muttering under his breath about being set up. The cameras follow him to his truck as he slams the door and drives off, leaving Robyn sitting alone in the quiet. That shot, Robyn sitting in silence as Kody speeds away, becomes the moment fans replay over and over again. Because for the first time, she's not chasing, she's not crying after. She just stares off into the distance, tired, hollow and free. That's not acting. That's the exhaustion of a woman who spent years holding together a man's fragile ego and finally realizing she can't anymore. And here's where things get even more telling. The children's reaction. Reports and fan accounts reveal that several of Kody's adult kids stopped communicating with him entirely after that episode. One fan shared a screenshot of a cameo from Pete on Brown, where he said, "Some people never learn accountability, not even when it's on television." The implication: Kody still doesn't see himself as the problem. And when you think about it, that's been the story all along. Every wife who left was blamed for betrayal. Every child who spoke up was accused of disrespect. But now that Robyn, the one who was supposed to be loyal until the end, is showing doubt, the entire foundation of Kody's narrative is collapsing. It's not just Robyn versus Kody. It's truth versus delusion. And that's why the audience can't look. Because what we're seeing isn't just a marriage falling apart. It's a system collapsing under its own weight. The control, the spiritual hierarchy, constant emotional manipulation, all of it is unraveling in real time. One Reddit comment summarized it perfectly. Kody built a house on devotion, not love. The second devotion dried up, the house fell apart. And maybe that's what this entire season represents: the end of devotion and the beginning of reality. In the episodes following the confession, Robyn starts talking more about peace, about needing space, about wanting her kids to have a different kind of stability. You can feel it. She's emotionally detaching piece by piece. And as she pulls away, Kody grows louder, angrier, more erratic. There's a chilling scene where he says, "I feel like God's punishing me." And for a brief moment, you almost feel sorry for him. But then he adds, "Because my wives won't follow." And that's when you realize he still doesn't get it. It's not divine punishment, it's human consequence. Because for years, Kody's leadership was never about unity, it was about obedience. And now, without women to obey him, there's nothing left but the echo of his own ego. Robyn, on the other hand, starts becoming something else entirely. A symbol, not of loyalty, but of awakening. And whether fans love her or hate her, they can't deny one thing: Robyn's eyes finally look open. The shift is undeniable. The audience who once mocked her tears now see something more haunting behind them. Truth, regret, the pain of realizing she was both the enabler and the victim of Kody's control. TikTok creators start saying things like, "Robyn's finally realizing she wasn't chosen, she was trapped." And that theory goes viral because for the first time in Sister Wives history, viewers are watching the favorite wife fall from grace, not because someone exposed her, but because she exposed herself. And that's what makes it so powerful. By the time the third episode ends, it's clear. The show isn't about Kody's plural vision. It's about what happens when the one person who kept the illusion alive stops pretending. And fans can feel it. The atmosphere has changed. There's no going back to family dinners, no fixing this through counseling sessions or prayer circle. This isn't a pause. This is the beginning of the end. And as the screen fades to black with the haunting sound of wind echoing over the credits, one final line appears on screen: Robyn's voice, quiet and broken. "I thought love would save us, but maybe truth is what we needed all along." It's the line that leaves the audience frozen, because underneath the heartbreak, the confession, and the chaos, there's finally honesty. The truth is out. The world has seen it, and Kody Brown can't control it anymore. By the time mid-season hits, you can feel it. Something in the air around Kody Brown has changed. The charisma, the bluster, the confidence that once filled every room he entered, it's gone. What's left is a man haunted by the ghost of his own authority. This isn't the same Kody who strutted through the early season, quoting scripture and smiling through chaos. This is a man unraveling in real time, in front of millions. The season opens with him sitting alone on the porch of his Flagstaff home, silent, staring at the mountain. The camera lingers, no words, no soundtrack, just wind and the faint sound of him exhaling. It's eerie, because for the first time you can tell Kody doesn't know what to say. The confession from Robyn, the public backlash, the humiliation, it's all built up into something even he can't talk his way out of. He starts avoiding family meetings, skipping filming days, even refusing to speak directly with the producer. In one leaked moment caught on a hot mic, he mutters, "I'm done being the bad guy," his voice thick with anger and denial. But the irony, he's not the villain because people made him. He became it all on his own. And the wives, what's left of them, have stopped trying to save him. Christine is gone. Janelle has moved on. Mary has emotionally detached. And now Robyn, the one he thought would always stand by him, has started making quiet, strategic moves. She's the calm in the middle of his storm. But it's not submission anymore, it's preparation. Reports from local sources claim Robyn's been spending more time away from the family home, attending therapy sessions alone, and even looking at property lists in St. George, Utah, where her extended family lives. TLC hasn't confirmed it, but fans have connected the dots. And in her latest confessional, she says something that sends chills down every viewer's spine. Sometimes you have to stop waiting for someone to heal with you and start healing on your own. That line alone tells the entire story. It's the sound of a woman who's done. Kody, on the other hand, isn't handling it quietly. His reaction grows more erratic, lashing out at the kids, arguing with production, rambling about loyalty and betrayal. There's one scene where he calls Robyn disrespectful for not defending him online. She sits there expressionless, not even blinking. For a man who thrived on emotional control, that blank stare is his biggest defeat, because when someone stops reacting, you lose power over them. And that's exactly what's happening. The viewers notice the shift immediately. Fan pages begin calling it the collapse era. TikToks are captioned with Kody's downfall in 4K, paired with clips of him spiraling. And for once, people aren't cheering, they're studying, watching every word, every twitch, every denial, like they're witnessing the psychology of control fall apart in slow motion. Even the way he speaks changes. He starts referring to his past in third person. Kody used to believe, or Kody thought he was building something sacred. It's unsettling. Almost like he's disassociating from his own image, trying to separate himself from the man the world now sees. But the problem is he is that man, the one who hurt his wives, the one who ignored his children, the one who weaponized religion to justify his ego. And now, stripped of control, all that's left is the reflection he can't escape. Robyn, meanwhile, is growing quieter but stronger. She's stopped trying to correct Kody on camera, stopped defending his outbursts, stopped crying every time he raises his voice. That calm, detached silence is her power now. She's seen this before, not just in him, but in herself. The same way Christine once reached her breaking point, the same way Janelle decided to stop fighting, Robyn's getting there too. But the difference is, her breaking point comes with clarity. In one scene, she's shown sitting with her daughter, saying, "I don't want you to believe love is supposed to hurt." You can hear her voice shake, not because she's weak, but because she's finally acknowledging the truth she's avoided for years. That's the real heart. Because deep down, Robyn believed the family, the faith, the unity. She wasn't just protecting Kody, she was protecting her own illusion. And now, that illusion is gone. There's a moment later in the season that feels like the emotional climax of it all. Kody confronting Robyn after seeing online rumors that she's moving out. He storms into the house, his voice rising, eyes wild, pacing back and, "You said you'd never give up," he shouts. "You said we were eternal." Robyn doesn't yell back. She just says quietly, "Eternal doesn't mean endless pain." That silence after she speaks, it's almost cinematic. Kody stares at her, like he doesn't even recognize her anymore. And maybe he doesn't. Because the woman who once made excuses for his behavior is now holding him accountable, not with anger, but with truth. The next morning, Robyn packs a small box of things. The cameras catch her folding a photo of her and Kody together, placing it in a drawer instead of the box. A symbolic act. She's not taking him with her this time. Fans dissect the scene frame by frame. Some see it as performance, others see it as liberation. But whatever you believe, one thing's clear: Robyn Brown is emotionally leaving the marriage long before she physically does. Meanwhile, Kody is left talking to himself on camera, trying to rewrite the narrative again. "I did everything I could," he insists. "I've sacrificed for everyone." But now, no one's there to nod along. Even the producers don't cut away. They let the silence hang, the sound of his words echoing into nothing. It's the sound of a man finally realizing no one's listening anymore. You can feel the symbolism in every shot: the empty chairs, the half-lit rooms, the lonely dinners. The polygamous dream that once looked like unity now looks like a museum of broken promises. TLC knows exactly what it's doing. They're not editing around the pain anymore. They're letting us feel it. Every pause, every silence, every heavy breath. This isn't just television anymore. It's the dissection of a marriage that once defined a movement. And through it all, the fandom keeps talking. Thousands of comments flood Reddit and YouTube every week. This isn't Sister Wives, it's just Kody versus reality. You can see the madness in his eyes. The control is slipping. Robyn's not innocent, but I can't help feeling she's finally seeing the truth. It's a cultural shift. Sister Wives is no longer about polygamy. It's about power and what happens when it collapses. The most haunting part? Kody doesn't even realize the cameras are no longer on his side. He still believes the story belongs to him, that he's the misunderstood prophet, the victim of disloyalty. But the editing, the tone, the fan conversations, they've already moved on. The audience has chosen their narrative, and it's not his. As the episode nears its end, there's a final montage. Robyn walking out of the Flagstaff home with her kids loading boxes into a car. No words, just a somber instrumental track. Kody watches from the doorway, his face unreadable, eyes filled with a strange mix of anger and loss. He doesn't follow her. He just stands there, frozen, powerless, alone. That image, Kody Brown standing in the doorway as his last wife drives away, becomes the symbol of the collapse. It's replayed, memed, analyzed, and immortalized online. One viral caption sums it up perfectly. When the last domino falls, even the king is just. The final voiceover from Robyn closes the episode, her voice calm, resigned, and eerily. Sometimes endings don't come with closure, they come with acceptance. And that's where the screen fades to black. You can feel it. Sister Wives isn't about plural love anymore. It's about survival, identity, and truth. The illusion is shattered, the kingdom has fallen, but the question remains, what happens when the man who built it refuses to let go? Because if Kody Brown has taught us anything, it's that he won't go quietly. The final episode opens with silence, the kind of silence that feels heavy, almost sacred. The Brown family home sits quiet under a gray Flagstaff sky. There's no laughter, no music, no familiar hum of life, just stillness. Inside, Kody sits alone, surrounded by boxes that once symbolized his big, bold dream, the dream of unity, family, and faith. But now those boxes look more like reminders of everything he's lost. His voiceover starts soft, almost trembling. I thought I was building something eternal. Turns out, I was just building walls. It's one of the most chilling openings of the entire Sister Wives saga, because for once, Kody Brown isn't shouting. He's defeated. For years, viewers have watched him twist reality, using faith as justification, anger as defense, pride as armor. But now that armor's cracked, and what's underneath isn't confident, it's confusion. He's not the patriarch anymore. He's the aftermath. The confessionals shift tone, too. Robyn's voice is steady, but distant, almost emotional. She says, I loved him. I still do. But love isn't supposed to destroy you. That line echoes through the fandom like a siren. Fans flood Twitter and TikTok with the same quote, over dramatic edits, slow piano music, and montages of Robyn wiping her tears in earlier seasons. One post racks up over 3 million views within hours. Caption, Robyn finally said what every woman in this show has felt. Love shouldn't hurt like. The internet explodes. Reddit threads light up with speculation. Is Robyn officially leaving? Is this the end of Sister Wives? Will Kody try to fight back? But the truth is, the fight's already over. In one of the most talked about scenes of the season, Kody sits with a TLC producer and asks, do you think people see me as the villain? The camera operator doesn't answer. The silence says it all. You can see the realization hit him like a wave. The anger fades, the defensiveness drains, and what's left is a man confronting something he's avoided for over a decade, the possibility that he's not the hero of this story. He takes off his mic, stares at the floor, and mutters, then maybe I should stop pretending to. Cut to Robyn, packing quietly, her movements methodical, calm, almost graceful. The camera captures her glancing around the empty living room, the photos, the memories, the ghosts. Her voice narrates, I used to believe we were chosen to show the world that plural love could work. Now I realize maybe our story was meant to show why it doesn't. That statement doesn't just end a chapter. It rewrites the whole narrative. TLC producers reportedly paused filming for several minutes after that line, stunned. The crew described the moment as eerily final. Online fans call it Robyn's redemption arc. For years, she was branded the villain, the manipulator, the favorite, the wedge between the wives. But now, she's become something else. The mirror that reflects the truth Kody refused to see as Robyn drives away from the house. No tears, no words. The camera pans to Kody, standing at the same doorway where he once watched Christine leave, then Janelle, then Mary, 3 wives gone, 1 driving away. The self-proclaimed patriarch of a plural family, left completely, utterly alone. The symbolism is undeniable. The wide shot captures him shrinking in the frame. One man in a house too big for his pride. And then comes the final confession. Kody sits down one last time. No script, no filter, no fire left. He says, I kept thinking I could fix everything, but maybe everything wasn't supposed to be mine to fix. There's a pause. He looks up, blinking back tears, and adds, I thought God was testing. Maybe he was just trying to teach me. It's raw, real, almost too human for the man viewers love to hate. And then, in a tone that feels like a man accepting the end of his own myth, he says, if this is how it ends, then maybe it's what needed to happen, because you can't lead a family when you've already lost your. Fade to black. No music, no final montage, just silence. But the world outside the show doesn't go silent. Within hours of the episode airing, Sister Wives trends global. Hashtags explode across platforms. Number Sister Wives finale. Number Robyn's confession. Number Kody falls. Number Theen Dof pluralav. Reaction videos flood YouTube. Podcasts break down every line. Memes dominate Twitter. TikTok edits show Robyn's final moments walking away, set to haunting tracks like Running Up That Hill and Unstoppable. Some fans celebrate, others mourn. Everyone agrees they've never seen anything like that. Because Sister Wives was never just a show about polygamy. It was about power, loyalty, faith, and the fragility of control. And now, we're witnessing the final unraveling of that control in its purest form. For years, Kody preached unity while building division. He demanded loyalty while giving none. He claimed divine purpose but acted out of pride. And now, stripped of everything, his wives, his image, his audience's sympathy, he's finally facing the only truth that matters: that no kingdom, no matter how righteous it claims to be, survives when built on ego instead of empathy. The final scene closes not with Kody or Robyn, but with the empty family table. The chairs, once filled by laughter and conflict, now sit untouched. The camera lingers for 10 seconds, then fades out completely. No narration, no closure, just silence. And that silence says everything. Because in the end, the story of Sister Wives isn't about who stayed or who left. It's about who found themselves in the wreckage. Christine found freedom. Janelle found independence. Mary found peace. Robyn found truth. And Kody, he found himself, but far too late. The screen fades to black, and the Sister Wives Now logo appears one last time with a slow heartbeat sound effect under. Then, your voiceover tone shifts, suspenseful, direct, commanding. If you've been with us through this storm, through the secrets, the heartbreak, and the truth, don't stop here. Hit that like button if you felt this ending. Subscribe to Sister Wives Now for every raw revelation still to come. Because trust me, this story isn't over yet, not by a long shot. And when the next chapter begins, you'll want to be here first. Fade out with subtle ambient, low, dramatic, reflect.